All right, thank everybody for attending today. Today we'll be going over a number of benefits for veterans. The first one will be Chapter 33. We'll also go over Chapter 35 and also Hazlewood. My name is Edward King. I'm a veteran advisor at TCC. We also have Angel, who's our veteran counselor, and also Dr. Petaway, who's another one of our academic advisors. I will start off today, and I'll give you a presentation, short presentation over the Chapter 33 benefit, also known as Post 9/11. Let me share my screen with you. Give me one moment. Okay, I'm gonna give you an overview of the benefit. Like I told you before, it's the post 9/11 benefit, also known as Chapter 33. Okay, what is Chapter 33, post 9/11? It's a benefit that helps you pay for your tuition, helps pay for your books. It also gives you a BAH, a stipend, based upon your location. And how do you qualify to actually receive this benefit? You have to have served after September 10th, 2001. You actually may qualify for it based upon your terms of service. And what does the Chapter 33 of GI Bill cover? I kind of went over this briefly before. Your tuition and fees, and tuition and fees for a state institution, not private institution. It will pay for a private institution like the actual fees, but if it exceeds a certain amount per year, the VA won't pay that additional amount unless you also utilize the Yellow Ribbon program. Also, it pays for housing, like I said, based upon where you live. You only get the BAH if you go full time. Full time would be considered 12 degree applicable credits. When I say degree applicable, it means that the credits that you take apply to the degree that you're pursuing. And the degree you're pursuing has to be one of the programs that are approved by the VA at your institution. Also, you get money for books and supplies. There's a certain amount you can utilize each year. It's around $1,000 each year for books and supplies, which once again can be used every year. The VA also helps with moving expenses. If you're coming from a very rural area to, let's say, a more urban area, you can get up to $500 based upon where you live. Okay, eligibility requirements. What makes you eligible? You have to serve for at least 90 days. You can also, and this is after 2011, depending on how much time you serve, really breaks down how much benefit you receive. Also, if you receive the Purple Heart after September 2011, you could also, on after 2011, you can also receive the Chapter 33 benefit. And you'll see additional two ways to actually, two additional ways to qualify for service here below. Next one here. So how do you determine how much funding you receive? So if you served at least 36 months in service, you can actually get 100% of your GI Bill, which means you get a maximum amount of funding. If you serve less than that, you can see the chart. It kind of it lowers the percentage that you receive based upon if you actually serve less months. For example, if a vet served 90 days in service, only gets or 6 months, they get 40% of benefit. If a vet served 36 months, they get 100% benefit. Does these benefits expire? If you received your benefit after January 1st, 2013, they won't expire if you did it after that. That means you can use 36 months of benefit, and how long you have, in a sense, forever to use the benefit, but you only have 36 months of benefit. If you received your benefit prior to 2013, you actually have 15 years to use that benefit or lose it. Okay, how do I get these benefits? You can actually apply for the GI Bill benefits online. You can actually call to apply for benefits and they've seen something via mail. The application process is very simple. It can definitely be done online. It's a very fluid process. Um, so if you in the future want to learn more about maximizing your benefit, I can definitely talk more about that. So, but what I will do, let me go ahead and give you some information while I can. I'll give you a few quick tips about maximizing your benefit. Let me go down here to the bottom. Okay, so if you want to maximize your job benefit, I would suggest that you try not to certify during your short terms, that being one semester and May semester. Also, try to take 15 credits per semester, which will maximize your VA benefit. Also, utilize grants and scholarships. You can actually still receive financial aid if you get the GI Bill, right? So if you got the GI Bill and you feel like everything's taken care of and you get additional funding because you went to a private institution and you got yellow ribbons up and also, but you need additional funding, you can still request the scholarship. You can still request financial aid, scholarships. I definitely suggest that you use the round out rule, which means your last semester, let's say you have 3 credits remaining, but you definitely need the BAH. You can go ahead and take an additional 9 non-degree applicable credits. You're only your final semester. That's called rounding out. And you can also request both rehab or veteran readiness and employment. That's another benefit. That's not an educational benefit, but it will pay for your education. So those are my suggestions for maximizing your GI Bill. And also, if you have additional questions in the future, feel free to reach out to our office. We'll be here for assistance. Now I'm going to transition over to Mr. Angel. He's actually our vet counselor. He'll be speaking to you more about the Hazlewood Act.
Hi, Edward. Thank you so much for introducing me today. That is a great presentation. So if you just watched the presentation on the chapter 33 and you didn't catch it all, then I encourage you to go back and watch it again. It's very good information. And as the veteran counselor here at Tarrant County College Trinity River campus, when I watched his presentation, I definitely learned a few things myself. So it's very good. So I'm here today to talk to you about the Hazlewood Act. The Hazlewood Act is a little bit different from the traditional VA benefits. The Hazlewood Act is specific to the state of Texas. And so as you can see here, this will be, we will actually be applying to the Texas Veterans Commission for this benefit. So let's learn a few things about it. Today we're going to talk about what is the Hazlewood Act. We'll talk about what does it cover. We will talk about the eligibility requirements for veterans, the eligibility requirements for child or spouse of veterans who are MIA, KIA, or permanently disabled, and the eligibility requirements for Hazlewood Legacy. That's the portion where it is transferred to the child. And then lastly, we'll talk about how do I apply for the Hazlewood Act. What is the Hazlewood Act? Well, it is a state of Texas benefit that exempts qualified veterans and dependent children from specific tuition and fee charges at public institutions of higher education in the state of Texas. And so it will only be for public institutions and only in the state of Texas. So the exemption is for a maximum of 150 credit hours, and it may be awarded regardless of financial need. So it doesn't matter how much you made on your tax return last year. If you qualify for it, you can be eligible for it. What does the Hazlewood Act cover? Well, the Hazlewood Act is an exemption of tuition. So it basically covers tuition. And it does cover some fees and dues, but mainly tuition, for up to 150 credit hours. The Hazlewood Act does not cover books. The Hazlewood Act is accepted at public institutions of higher learning in the state of Texas. So, for example, here at TCC, University of Texas at Arlington, or Tarleton State University. The Hazlewood Act is not accepted at private institutions like TCU, Texas Wesleyan, or Dallas Baptist University. What are the eligibility requirements for veterans? Well, they must meet one of the following time entry requirements. So they must have entered the service in the state of Texas. They must have declared Texas as the home of record at the time of entry, or they must be a resident of Texas at the time of entry. They must also have served 180 days of active duty service, and this does not include basic training. And they must have been honorably discharged or discharged under honorable conditions. And then not in default in a state loan. The eligibility requirements for spouse or a child of a veteran who is MIA, KIA, or totally disabled for purposes of employability. They must be the spouse or the child of the veteran who is, of course, MIA, KIA, or totally disabled. Or the spouse or the child must, number one, be a Texas resident. Number two, each recipient may apply for 150 hours, and there is no age limit. Next, we're going to talk about the Legacy Act, and the Legacy Act is the transfer of the Hazlewood to a child. So this is not exactly for veterans who are MIA, KRA, or totally disabled. This is when the veteran has the benefit and decides to transfer their benefit to a dependent. So the veteran must be eligible for the Hazlewood Act. The veteran may have only one child using the benefit at a time, and then they will share a total of 150 credit hours. The recipient must be either a biological child, stepchild, adopted child, or claimed as a dependent for the current tax year on the IRS form. The recipient must be 25 years of age or younger on the first day of class. The recipient must enroll in a degree or certificate program and maintain satisfactory academic progress. And the recipient must provide the veteran's DD-214 or equivalent documentation. The recipient must provide the death certificate if it is the veteran is deceased. How do we apply? So the way we apply is different than the traditional VA benefits. In this case, we will go to the Texas Veterans Commission website. So you can either go to www.tvc.texas.gov, or you can simply type in tvc.texas.gov, or you can do a search for TVC. We have more information on our Tarrant County College webpage. So if you would like some more information on the Hazlewood Act at the Tarrant County College page, you can join us at www.tccd.edu and then click on Services. Then you will click on Veteran Services, and then you will click on Educational Benefits. And there you will find more information on the Hazlewood Exemption Act. Here are some resources for this presentation. And if you need additional help, we would be glad to help you. Once again, our team at the Trinity River campus is Mr. Edward King, Dr. Tracy Petaway, and myself, Mr. Angel Ayala. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Tracy Petaway, who will talk about Chapter 35 benefits. Dr. Petaway?
Hello, there we are. How's everyone? Thank you so much, Edward King and Angel Ayala, for your presentations on the benefits that we try to educate our veteran and military-connected students about here at our campus. My portion of the presentation is the Dependents Education benefits associated with Chapter 35. So, Let's move into an overview. We have children and spouses of veterans. When we talk about the term dependents, please know that we are specifically referring to children and spouses of veterans. The benefits includes a total of 45 months of instruction if enrolled before August 1st of 2018, a total of 36 months of instruction if enrolled after August 1st of 2018. However, if the veteran was released from active duty before January 1st of 2013, there is a 15-year time limitation to utilize those benefits. In addition to, if the veteran was released from active duty after January 1st of 2013, there's no time limitation to utilize those benefits. So, what are the qualifications? I'm so glad you asked. You must be the biological child, stepchild, adopted son or daughter, or spouse of the veteran. Additionally, the veteran must have passed away or is permanently or totally disabled as a result of a service-connected disability. Secondly, the disability must arise out of active duty service. Thirdly, the service member is missing in action, also referred to commonly as MIA, or captured in the line of duty by a hostile force. Lastly, the service member forcibly detained by a foreign government or power. Those are the qualifications. However, there are some additional qualifications that are very important as well. The dependent children must be between the ages of 18 and 26. For a spouse, the benefits end 10 years from the date the VA finds you eligible or from the date of death of the veteran. So for example, if I'm the spouse, this is 2020. So the benefits will end 10 years from the date the VA finds me eligible. So 10 years from today would be 2030. Or, of course, from the date of death of the veteran. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an example there. So, information that's important here is that the benefit pays only a monthly stipend while in school. There's no tuition, no books, and no housing allowance for this particular benefit. It's only a monthly stipend while in school. So, let's look at some mechanisms that are associated here. To receive the full monthly stipend, the dependent must be enrolled as a full-time student. So you may say, what's a full-time student? I'm so glad you asked. That question will be answered right now. 12 hours in a long 16-week semester for the fall or spring, 6 hours in an 8-week term of the fall and spring semester, or 4 hours in a 5-week term during the summer. However, the stipend rate will reduce for less than full-time student enrollment. Hence, the rate is not affected by online classes, especially since we're dealing with the pandemic and COVID right now. So those are the mechanisms and the qualifiers for what is considered a full-time student to be able to receive the full monthly stipend as a dependent. So how do you get started? As my cohorts mentioned earlier, you have www.va.gov. That is how you will apply for the VA education benefits. There's a VA Form 22-5490, Dependents Application for VA Education Benefits. The VA will then mail you a certificate of eligibility. That's also commonly referred to as a COE within 4 to 6 weeks. So you are to submit a copy of that to the registrar's office. I'm going to repeat. Submit a copy of that to the registrar's office. If the benefits were used at a previous institution, then you need to fill out the form, the VA Form 22-5495, which is the change of program or place of training. So as we move a little bit further, what are the next steps? So once you submit all official transcripts from prior colleges or universities to the registrar's office, you're going to complete the VA certification request through the Tarrant County College Web Advisor. This is something that you must do every semester. Every semester, you must complete the VA certification request through Tarrant County College through Web Advisor. After that, the degree plan is required for certification. So how do you obtain that? Well, your veteran academic advisor. Once you obtain that, then you submit that to the registrar's office. Right here, I have just a quick copy of the initial use checklist. Initial use means that you are utilizing those benefits for the very first time. And this is a checklist that kind of helps you walk through the process to make sure that you've covered everything that you need so that you'll be able to get registered and to receive your benefits. The next checklist, of course, is for the transfer student checklist, meaning that you are coming from another higher learning institution. Let's just say that you are a student at UT Arlington and you are considering coming to Tarrant County College for a winter semester or a May semester or the summer. Then this is the form that you need to look at, the transfer student request. Even if the transfer is for a short period of time, you're still a transfer student. Continue to check your email. This is extremely important. When you are enrolled at the college, you will receive a my.tccd.edu email. Too many C's there. And you need to make sure that you always check that email because that is the primary source of communication for you. You will get messages from the TCC certification office about the status of your certification. So it's very important that you check in on that email maybe twice a day, in the morning and maybe in the evenings, to make sure you're not missing anything. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our office. We have Mr. Angel Ayala, who is our Veterans Counselor, Mr. Edward King, who is our Veteran Academic Advisor, and myself, Dr. Tracy Pettaway, who's also one of the Veteran Academic Advisors, and you will see our extensions on the slide as well. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of our benefits information session for you all to be able to move forward in your academic success. I will now turn it back over to Mr. Angel Ayala at this time.
Thank you, Tracy. I just want to thank Tracy and Mr. Edward King for this fine presentation. And we hope that you enjoyed this session. We hope that you get lots of good information from this session. And we look forward to connecting with you as a student at Tarrant County College. Thank you.